Mr. Vice President, we are on. I'd like to call the order of the Auburn Parks and Recreation Board meeting, May 27th, 2025, 6 p.m. at the Reiki Lodge in Auburn, Indiana. Acceptance of minutes going on the agenda is the next in line. Anybody have any questions or comments on the minutes from the April 22nd meeting? If none, then I would accept the motion to accept the minutes.
Mr. Vice President, Ben Nordman makes a motion that the board approve the minutes of the regular meeting of the Park and Recreation Board for the City of Auburn. This meeting held April 22nd, 2025.
Allison Todd, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Next order of business is introduction. Yes.
Mr. Vice President, present tonight at our meeting is Kevin Webb, Mayor Dave Clark, whom we appreciate his attendance. Madison Schultes is here along with members Allison Todd, myself, Benjamin Gordon, and Mike McCarrovich.
Okay.
And you can vote to restructure with, because you can vote for yourself and vote for president by thought, I think, so you want to do that.
All right. So obviously, then introducing Don is not going to happen. So the next order of business would be the courtyard park request. And that is from Mayor Dave.
You can just speak? Oh, yeah, this is simple. Mayor Dave Clark, I just have a request to utilize Courtyard Park. I believe it was June 24th, or excuse me, 21st, it's a Saturday. 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. To officiate a wedding that I was asked to officiate here in the city.
So you're actually going to present a wedding.
You're going to
Yes.
Wow, that's going to be an honor.
I did my second one.
That's got to be something. Any questions or comments from the board on this request?
I sure hate to do this to the mayor, but
We'll do it.
yeah, I will do it anyway. Do we need to worry about refreshments, food, any permits, any insurance, any type of those issues?
No, there's, I think there'll be maybe 15 people in attendance, no food, no beverages. It's just the ceremony and that's it.
Is there, based on your understanding as mayor, is there any extra permission we need to approve, permits or anything in the food or anything like that? So it's truly, it's just a granting from the board would be sufficient for the
Yeah,
purposes.
just to have the ceremony and then it's all we're doing there. In the back of time, we'll do to the chambers like we normally would, so that's where we would typically have.
Hope it doesn't rain.
Great.
Any other questions from the board?
Mr. Vice President, Ben Nordman makes a motion that the board approve the request to permit the courtyard park to be utilized on June 21st from 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. So that Mayor Dave may officiate the wedding.
Allison Todd, second.
Okay. Now we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Is that going to be on TV, Mayor, or is it?
Not the way.
It's not going to be. It could be in the paper. Okay. So that's now the next order of new business is Relay for Life, July 26th at Temple Park. And And this is Madison Schultz. Would you like to state your name and
Mayor's told me. I'm Madison Schultes. I am part of Relay for Life's event planning committee, and we are wanting to plan a fun, family fun run / walk. Because not a lot of people are gonna wanna run, maybe, especially me. But, so this is just something that we're hoping to do at Epcot. We know that it's not very long paved, but doing 2 laps would be, I think, almost a mile, roughly.
3 miles a mile.
It's like half a mile. Just something to get people out, moving, enjoy the summer.
now you're aware the park's gonna be open to the public? Okay, so that doesn't interfere with your.
Correct. We encourage them to participate.
And is this gonna be an outdoor pavilion? That you're gonna-
Open pavilion,
Open.
yes.
Are you, or, one second, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna make 8 AM to 12 noon
Yes.
is your expected. And I see here, and unless you have, I see here we have a certificate of
Yes.
liability insurance. Now, there was some question about a food truck or presenting food at the event.
It's but upon further research into the truck, it's a coffee truck, so there is no food. It would just be beverage, but that would just be trash cans that would be needed for water bottles or the coffee cups. But I'm still waiting for a response from Tom's, so that is not in stone.
Okay, so there's a possibility,
Yes.
but you're sure it's not gonna be a food truck, it's just beverage?
Yes.
Eric, do you know if there's a permit needed for just beverage or?
Probably so, that really more to food.
So there doesn't need to be a condition.
If not, as long as there's not food.
Maybe we should put a provision in, if a food truck, then a county permit would be needed. Any other questions? I don't mean to dominate the
No, you're-
discussion, but I just had these questions.
Is your request also that the board approve the exclusive usage of that pavilion?
Yeah, if possible, but I figure we'd be there early enough to be able to claim it, just first come, first served, just as the pavilion comes, so.
And just for the board's awareness, it is a first come, first served pavilion. We don't take any reservations, we don't block that out.
Okay.
And they're aware of that.
It would be the one day that somebody got in there early with a family of 10.
Well, we'll be flexible.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? I mean, Eric, you don't have any issues?
No, we've ironed out a lot of details on that with Madison, and we went over several of the things that would be required, and she's met most of those stipulations. Just with the food truck, if you have a food truck and restricted food, then we'll make sure that we have to have that. The rest of it should be good. We should have trash cans, that shouldn't be a problem at all. So first we do it.
Any other questions from the board? So I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Vice President, Ben Nordman makes a motion that Relay for Life be permitted to host an event July 26th at Eckerd Park from 8 AM to 12 noon, subject to the condition that if Relay for Life chooses to utilize the services of a food truck, that the appropriate permit is tendered in advance to the park superintendent.
I'll second Mike McCarroll. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed. So again, hope for good weather.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Now, the next one will be the election of officers. And if I understand it correctly, we can vote on this even with just the three?
Yes, it would take a vote of three to confirm the officer.
Should we make these nominations as a slate, or should we do them individually?
Individually, so president will be, obviously, we have the vacancy of president, and that one should be filled first. Okay. And then after that, we will open up, if there is a snowball effect, we will open up each one.
That's,
Is that the appropriate way, Mr. Mayor?
yeah, so, yeah, if a position opens up as a result of this, the first election for president, then yeah, you fill that spot. Once there's no vacancies, then you're down.
Well, Mr. Vice President, Benjamin Nordman makes a motion that Mike McCarowicz be approved by this board to serve as the president of the Auburn Parks and Recreation Board.
Allison Tuttle seconds.
All right, any discussion?
Do you accept?
Oh, I guess that's part of the discussion.
I move to draft Mike McCarowicz.
I guess I'll accept. I think that would be an appropriate thing to do.
Thank you for your willingness to serve. Well, it's, we just had like you're the next logical guy.
It's been a fun, how many years have I been on the board now? I think it was under Norm when I first started. No, it's been a good time, and it's always fun to see the progress of our park system improve, especially with the good work being done now on programs in the parks. That's what I always figured, is the parks coming alive with these programs. Okay, if there's no other discussion, we'll have a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Well, again, thank you, board, for that. Now we'll need to have, there's a vacancy now for the vice president. So one, since it's wide open, is there any volunteer amongst you two to actually, okay, I just wanted to make sure. So I'll nominate Ben Nordson for vice president of the Auburn Park Board.
I accept, Mr. President. Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you.
No other discussion, we'll take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So we have vice now for secretary. There's a vacancy, so we're having the snowball.
Yes. Mr. President, Ben Nordman makes a motion that Allison Tom be elected to serve as the secretary of the Auburn Parks and Recreation Board, subject to her willingness to serve.
I do. I accept.
Mike McCarowicz seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So the president, vice president, and secretary have voted in this solution.
Mr. President or Eric, is there any type of need beyond our oath that we've already taken in our new capacities?
It'll be recorded into the minutes of meeting as an entry for the acceptance and functions of the board.
We'll be fitted for our jackets.
Yeah.
Gold coats.
And again, I have to appreciate you guys serving on the board, volunteer board. And there's a lot that goes into this, and Allison will, I know you haven't been an officer yet, so it's not secretary's hours, so we'll make sure each and
If I can do it.
Well, we've all. All right, so that takes care of new business. Old business,
I have none for the board.
okay? Then we'll go to superintendent updates.
So, as you know, we have a lot going on in the parks now, the Memorial Park, and all kinds of stuff on that one, and the one at the forefront of the projects. We're probably close to getting to be 75 to 80% complete on the project. We're cutting in trails right now, and Brooks will be in mid-month, a little bit before maybe the second week of June to start putting in the surfacing of the sub-base rock and then the asphalt at a later time after that. So restrooms getting close. It's probably a good 80% complete. So there's still some fencing and things like that that need to be added, but most of it is subcontractor work now through FCI. So concrete's the majority of that's poured, so we have a little bit more work around the stage yet and placing stones in the stage wall for the memorial stones. But all in all, the project's come along good. We have a lot of delays with rain this year, so hopefully that doesn't push us back any, but they are proceeding forward with the project. It's looking good. We have a good end product.
Expected completion still around September, July. Okay. That's fantastic.
As far as we know, yeah, we do have a meeting tomorrow, just as progress update, that goes up to 2 weeks, so we'll have more details.
Because I know it's fun to drive around the block around that thing and just see the progress that's going on there. It's tremendous.
So if there's any time the board would like to go in and take a look at that, I would be available to go around and kind of walk through it.
That'd be good. Yeah, that'd be good.
Just get a little.
Okay.
Second thing, we have the project going on now for the bridge columns down at Eckert Park. So those are being completed. They started about a week ago. So right now the columns are up. They don't have the facing stone, the capstone on the railings, but other than that, they're proceeding well. That project's looking to be done hopefully the end of August. So we have to have that thing done hopefully the end of July, but definitely by the first of August.
So there's no red flags keeping that from.
Nope, that's progressing good. A lot of the electrics are in the ground. It's trenched in over to the distribution panels. So a lot of that work is moving along. Repairs to Eckert, the vandalism has been completed. So we put new glass in the door out at the new program center, and then also on one of those exterior ones. So that's been good. 5K run. So we had a 5K run last weekend and 2 weekends ago. We had 139 participants. So it's it's the bear walk as we get this to grow. That continues to, we did have to bring our full staff in on Saturday to put the walk on. And everybody did a great job. My team did a great job. And put on a good end product. So happy recreational program side went well. As we grow, there's going to be some growing pains as we get larger and larger. We start to see 200, and then we'll have to start growing as well. So.
Now that's what I mean about the parks coming alive. You drive by, you see people in the parks like this, it really does elevate you.
And also want to thank Kiwanis for their donation of all the supplies for the donuts. And then also was a fundraiser for the park. We don't have any numbers quite back yet, but was a fundraiser also that's donated back to the recreational side of the parks. So appreciate their hard work here, because that's not easy. Making all those donuts down, they made 400 dozen. So.
Eric, might we at some point know the finances of how successful that was? Next meeting. Just out of curiosity. And it sounds like it was a great time, but then the factor of the viability of doing it in future years.
And
It's great to have those sponsors too.
yes, we couldn't do a lot of things without them.
I know that's great for the Halloween and Christmas walks. We've had tremendous support from those sponsors.
So last thing I have is Want to just kind of make the board aware of the rentals in the lodge. So I have May and June here. There's only 7 days where this facility is not rented for the month of June and May. 7 days, that's weekdays, that's weekends, that's it. So this facility is really shining as a viable place for people to come and have small weddings, have reunions, have baby showers, that kind of thing. So I just wanted to make the board aware that we're definitely fitting a niche in here in the city of Auburn, while having an economical place to go and a nice, beautiful place with a great scenery.
So that's what I'm saying, between the facility and the aesthetics, I mean, you really can't, from the value of the rental, you just can't beat it. So that's great though, that the area is taking advantage of it.
That's all I have for updates. We have our own stuff, all our staff is hired. Our last person started, which will be assisting with Ricky out here, so he started today. So we're getting him acclimated and we'll start training him because he's the new employee out here at this facility. So we are done hiring for the year and we're ready to take off and get everybody trained up.
So good news. All right, if there's no questions for Eric on the updates, then we'll go to the vouchers. If anyone has questions or discussions on any of the items in the voucher. I see on page 4, the north door Quonset hut, over almost 18, a little over 1,800 for that one.
So we had an operator that went, the board burned up in it, and all the parts were no longer available. That was the one that was left over from the highway department, the operator, and it failed, and it couldn't get parts for it. So we had to put a new one in.
Well, that new one should last a while. Sure. And then on page 6, the copper sulfate for Ricky, that expensive stuff, and of course, this is a huge pond. And you say that's 2 treatments?
That is, we only treat half the pond at one time, and then we allow the fish to move into that less concentrated area, and then later on we'll come back and treat the other side of it.
Because, we see people fishing there all the time, so it's always great to see the families out there. I see you renewed Rec Desk software again.
Yep. So that's our reservation program software that we have for an annual subscription of $4,830, and that takes care of all the reservations we have in the park system. That means what's going in, that's information going out, that is address books that we send out for mailings, so that encompasses all of that.
Well, it must be good to use, because a lot of people, just from your rental success, are using this. Anybody have any other questions on the vouchers?
I see that we have installed cameras at Smith Acres, Sapling, and presumably working with vandalism. Suffered. Do you believe that all of our parks are, so they're secure, or is there a need for additional cameras, or I guess where do you see that at?
Well, I think obviously there's a deficiency in the park system. The parks being antiquated has some challenges. So the ones that we've focused on just the restroom facilities. In this situation here, we have the cameras that were taken down from the water park. The water park is getting more of a complete security scan. So we're heading in the right direction, But these cameras, we had, both of them with cement anchors were non-functional, didn't work, so those have been taken out. These were, Memorial was repurposed to that, so that's what these are. These aren't the actual cameras. Cameras are somewhere around, 1,400 bucks a piece, something like that, so.
This is just the labor to move.
Yes, this is just labor to tear down the old ones and install the ones that we have.
I'm glad to hear about cameras at Memorial, because being a new part of it, it just, the attention.
So we spent some time in making sure that we have proper coverage.
Any other discussion on the vouchers? I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, Ben Norton makes a motion to approve the register of vouchers commencing with invoice number 6752 up to and including invoice 95067 in the cumulative amount of $21,448.32.
Allison Todd, second.
Allison Todd seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So, I always, want to have an opportunity after the main business of the meeting to allow anybody in the audience to have a comment session. So I'll open the meeting to the public if anybody wants to.
I have one thing. I'd just like to thank all three of you for your willingness to serve and congratulate you on your new roles. And I'm looking forward to the exciting things that will continue to do the parks.
You're welcome. All right. So the last announcement to make is the next park board meeting will be on June 24th, 2025, 6 p.m. here at Ricky Lodge. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Allison Todd, I motion to adjourn.
Second, Ben Norton.
Approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Then it's a lawyer's signature.
Andy, so, looks like it.